A great number of traditions I've studied, spiritual traditions, have incorporated the symbols of a male and a female force, a passive and an active force. You have yin and yang, and I believe in Kabbalah the same thing exists.
Of course, of course.
What, a lot of these symbols have made its way into the methodology itself. A lot of people believe that the union between a man and a woman is a spiritual union. Can spirituality be achieved by a sexual union between a man and a woman? Playing with these energies.
Well, first of all, we see that the whole of nature is divided in a very sharp and distinct way to a male part and a female part. We have plus and minus, north and south. It's all divided into two opposite parts.
Right.
And in that oppositeness between them, when they unite despite the opposition, it creates development.
Okay.
And our evolution, our life, really is built out of two forces. I need to receive something and to give something.
And
Look
these
at
are
the
the
waves.
female and passive
The
forces?
inhale, the
Okay.
exhale.
Okay.
So it all depends on the balance between these two forces of male and female on all levels, in plants and animals, in our cells, in our brain. You have the plus and minus. You have the black and white, the light, the darkness, all of our conceptions and understandings and questions and answers, our whole perception. On the most primitive levels, even in atoms, in molecules, in any form of living organism, to the brain waves or thought, whatever.
Right.
It's all divided into male and female. And so, of course, they think that with the right connection between male and female, we will achieve a good solution. A solution to a harmonious life, perhaps even eternal life. Because if I am constantly receiving, and I should see what's good, and to eject the bad things, so you have absorption and emission, you have male and female and all that. So in the right connection between them, perhaps I can attain a state where my cells, for example, live for 1,000 years.
Right.
Or maybe just forever, who knows?
And don't we attain a state? Doesn't a male and female union always produce a third greater entity? Isn't that evolution itself? Isn't that forward motion of nature? There's always a third entity created that's better?
But when we look at nature and at humans, we can see that male and female are opposites. They never complement each other, and they're always struggling. They're always kind of, conflicting and colliding. There's never peace and tranquility between them. Yes, they create the next generation, they advance, but the more they advance, the more they struggle. The more they collide and confront each other, to the point that in our generation, we've become so tired of the history of being in conflict that we prefer to just stay apart. Women in their place, men in their place. They look for sex in a different way, for life in a different way. They don't want to marry, they don't want anything. It's a sign that men and women, or the male part and the female part, cannot complement one another, cannot build the right connection. So what's missing between them? What's missing is only one thing. If you look at electricity. Take the plus and minus. In between, you need some kind of resistor. So on that resistor, you create either heat or cold or pressure or vacuum, whatever. You always need some kind of instrument that connects the plus and the minus, the north and the south. You have to have some kind of mass of some sort. So if a man and a woman connect just like that, it always
What if they
explosion.
add? There's the tantric tradition from the East, using the Kundalini energies that try to bring in thought or mindfulness during the act to make that connection, to build that third thing.
How much does it last? As long as people have a small ego, it can work. But when a male and a female grow in their egos, no method is going to help. We can see this happening everywhere. Everything is falling apart. The connection between men and women, the more we grow, become corrupted. What do we do? Where can we find the buffer, the connector, the right one?
Where can we? This is the mystery.
Well, yeah, but without it, we can't go on. Soon we won't have any children. Soon, you can see what's happening in Europe.
Right.
Well, soon it's going to happen that way everywhere. It's just an example for the world. And really, why marry? Are you married, by the way?
No.
You're not. Well, there you have it. But you're smart, actually. So it's an example.
Right.
You think, this gives me a headache. I'm an egoist. What do I need it for? Kabbalah says this. You need to correct the ego. You need to understand that by that you're losing. You're not losing because you don't have a female or children. You're losing a very special connection with nature, which through it you can develop and achieve a level of life that exceeds the living body.
Do we do that through properly relating to the opposite sex, or do we do that through properly relating to our same sex, like to the males properly relate to the males and the females properly relate to the females?
No.
Okay.
It's not about relating to men or to women. It doesn't matter. We need to relate to others, anything outside of us, the minerals, the plants, the animals, and the human society. We need to start relating to them as to a part of me, an integral part of me, inseparable. So I have to come to a point where I feel that everyone belongs to me.
Okay.
And then what happens is that you won't have a problem to come in contact with anyone. So again, we come to a point where, as we talked about it, I think, before, that the human ego is what stops us from connecting, both in terms of sex, and so only on condition that we correct ourselves towards everyone else, we will also be able to connect with the opposite sex in the right way.
So Kabbalah says that it's all about the right connection between us. This is what I'm hearing from you.
The whole thing is about correcting the ego.
Okay.
And past the correction of the ego, you'll be able to build the right connection.
Okay. So the New Age movement right now, there's a lot of books written, there's a lot of techniques, a lot of things I can listen to that will influence me to have a right attitude towards the outside world. Is this what I need to do? Is saturate myself with the right outside stimuli to convince myself? I mean, we were talking about convincing yourself this will not help?
No.
What if I do nothing else but read the same book over and over again and train my mind to believe something that I may not believe right now? That I love you, that I love people.
Look, you can't convince yourself to constantly resist nature, because nature is growing constantly. If I steal, say, $100, and I was punished for stealing $100, then I won't steal it anymore. But if I get a chance to steal $1,000 or $1 million, then I don't have the habit, I wasn't punished for $1,000. I was punished only for $100.
Right.
So it's not registered in me that I mustn't steal 1,000. And so because we always evolve, we're not animals. Yes, with animals it's simple. The ego is at the same level.
Right.
They don't grow through life. So they have this habit, this instinct, reflex. We're born with a few little reflexes, and the rest we develop over time. So it's not going to help you. So you need to be next to a person, really, and every time that person does something, you beat him up and you beat him up and you beat him up. So, of course, we can't want such a life or agree to it. So it's impossible to convince ourselves or to be convinced by someone else to be a good person and connect with others, all the more so with a woman who's constantly, brings us hardships. That's why humanity should now come to a point where it decides that it's got no future, no family, no children, no nothing, unless we treat our egos, unless we correct our egos. So we won't have a choice. We'll have to, just for the sake of the existence of a family, of humanity itself, to correct the ego.